to giving me this opportunity to read my book. So first let me introduce my book. My book is called Social Media Tomfoolery. This book is about how social media is impacting our lives, and it is sort of controlling our lives, the kind of power we have given to social media. I don't believe that it is social media's fault. Many of us, we say that there should be regulations and things should be done to control social media. I believe it will make a difference if we use social media responsibly. It's about taking personal responsibility of things, so we need to use it responsibly. So now, before I start with the book, I will run you through the names of the chapters so that you will get an idea of what the book is about. So times have changed, and so have our interactions. Welcome to a smart life. Real news or fake news? You don't need a degree to be a scholar. We would rather Facebook than face a book. Good morning with WhatsApp. Instagram. LinkedIn for the white collar. Wanna make a noise? Go tweet. Do you YouTube? Why social media has become so powerful? Social media impact, the dark side of social media, spilling the beans on social media marketing. Have you become a part of technology? Social media positives, social media management finally. So I'll be reading the chapter which is called Welcome to a Smart Life. The focal point of our lives today is our smartphone. We cannot fathom living even for minutes without this device. Smartphones have made our lives smarter than what it was earlier, or so we would like to believe. The original purpose of a phone was to talk to others who are located far away from us. But when phones became smart, they facilitated everything, taking pictures, texting, and of course, now we have apps for everything available on our phones. We lapped up all these features that smartphones offered us. However, we began to perform several of our physical activities that we were performing physically. We started performing them on the smartphones. Today, we just need to tap our smartphones and we can have almost everything that our heart desires. Whether we want entertainment, order food, pay bills, everything we can just do with a tap of a finger. Add to this, our smartphones are full of information from different WhatsApp groups where it looks like experts are voicing their thoughts. This solves the problem of wasting time on mundane stuff like reading to access information. It is so much easier to process information in the form of videos or other types of WhatsApp messages. Less effort, more fun, and we are also connecting with our friends in the process. Dating, forming relationships is another thing that smartphones have made very easy. Young boys and girls who are looking for relationships don't even need to think of ways to impress the other person. All they need to do is set up an account on a dating app, and artificial intelligence will do the rest. AI suggests partners based on the individual's profile, and all that the person needs to do is swipe right, and the relationship is formed. But do these activities on the smartphone suggest that we are leading a smart life? These kinds of activities have made us lose touch with reality. We are now leading our lives where our minds are controlled by the tiny device in our hands, and we believe that we are in control of it. Let me take the example of dating or finding a match through a matrimonial app using a smartphone. AI suggests partners based on the data provided by the individual. As long as the data fed fed by the individual on the dating app is genuine, matches are reliable to an extent. But what if the data is untrue? And this often happens where people are using dating apps to create a fake persona or some perfect version of themselves. So in such cases, the app cannot suggest the right match, and it suggests the match according to whatever has been fed. Because the technology does not know the real person. It only knows what it has been fed, and it suggests partners based on that. So what happens when the two app suggested partners meet? Well, most often they realize that they hardly have anything in common. And unlike what the app suggested, they are unable to get along. Assuming that the data fed into the app is authentic, even then partners are incompatible most of the time. Then is it the fault of the app? Unfortunately, it's not technology that is to blame. It is us. Real relationships cannot be formed by technology. They are made only by human interactions. While technology can do a lot of things for us, it cannot replace feelings and emotions. Relationships require these human aspects and cannot be based on technology alone. Think of the times before these apps. We would hear things like love at first sight. A human connection is formed only by looking at the other person or communicating directly with the individual. There is no way in which technology can mimic feelings and emotions, which are the cornerstones of human relationships. Today, people are so engrossed in looking at their smartphones that they hardly have the time to look at the person in front of them. So, age-old concepts like love at first sight are out of the question. Besides, today's technology-based thinking questions invisible aspects like emotions, feelings, beliefs. Everything needs to have a proof. And if it doesn't have a proof, it does not exist. Such is the power of technology. The onus is entirely on us whether we let technology make us a part of it or we continue to remain humans with feelings and emotions. However, there are certain aspects like making online bill payments, banking, ordering stuff that are beneficial and have made our lives easier. They have helped us save time. Smartphones have also helped us establish connections with people who are far away from us. And because we save so much time using these technologies, what do we do with the time that we have saved? Well, we promptly invest it on our smartphones. Have you noticed how messed up human relationships are in today's world? It is simply because we are investing more time and effort in our relationship with our smartphone rather than with people. When it comes to real people in our lives, we say that we don't have time. We would rather text the person than pick up the phone and speak to the person. Does talking to another person take so much time that you would rather text the person? This is today's reality and the main cause of broken relationships and mental health issues. While we have smart ways of functioning with technology, we are found lacking on the emotional front big time. Here's the reality of the smart lives we lead. We are dependent on our smartphones for our smartness in more ways than one. On the superficial level, the brand of the smartphone we use indicates a lot about us to the world. This is the reason many of us invest in high-end mobiles because it is important status symbol. Some people may not even be aware of the features that the smartphone offers, but that hardly matters as long as it gives the impression that we are smart when we are using them. The smartphone companies offer new versions of the product each year with new features and functionality. And many of us happily discard our old phones to buy the latest version. Many a time, this decision to change the phone is based only on the need to own the latest product in the market to get ahead of our peers. While in some rare cases, these smartphones are purchased for their true worth to use the new functionalities. These are mostly the tech geeks who love to upgrade themselves with the latest technology. Whatever the reason for the purchase, finally, it's the smartphone manufacturer who turns out smarter than the customer who purchases it. Not to forget the contribution to the landfills with the electronic waste generated by discarding old mobiles. The popularity of smartphones has increased multifold with the increased use of social media. Apps like Instagram are more mobile friendly than desktop. A lot of our smartness comes from information shared on various social media platforms. Unfortunately, not all the information exchanged on WhatsApp chats or other social media platforms is real and authentic. Smartphones have also increased the vulnerability to cybercrime. These devices offer us a myriad of apps that make our lives easy. So we store a lot of personal data on these devices for easier use of apps. Cyber attacks on our mobile can reveal a lot of personal information to cyber criminals. It could be our address, phone numbers, passwords, bank account details, a lot of other information. Our security is compromised to a large extent, and we could easily become victims of cybercrime. The unfortunate truth is that as the smartness of phones has increased, so has the smartness of cyber criminals and hackers. They have developed simple methods to hack our smartphones and access all our data. It's time to think, to what extent is this smartness worthwhile? Well, we need to get smarter than our smartphones and use them cautiously so that we can outsmart not only our phones but also anyone trying to manipulate or exploit us through it. The end of the chapter, I share some key takeaways. So here is what they are. We need smartphones, but we need to use them smartly. Here's how. Avoid using it for the morning alarm, simply because you will feel tempted to scroll when you pick it up to switch off the alarm. Use an alarm clock instead. Use your smartphone for transactions like banking, online payments, shopping, but allocate a specific time and duration for such activities. Try to stick to the schedule except for emergencies. Be cautious of the time spent on online shopping, as this is one activity that can consume a lot of our time. Similarly, fix your timings for using different social media platforms. Make sure you follow this schedule. Make a conscious effort not to get entangled in unnecessary arguments on WhatsApp, as they do not add any value. On the contrary, they drain you out. Switch off your smartphone at least 1.5 hours before going to bed. These are some steps that will help you declutter your mind and use the smartphone in a way that you are smarter than them. Thank you.